Right, okay, so I think what I want to achieve here is to go through a few slides to position actually the concept of Content Cloud. We will have, if time permits, a Q&A session. I have also some colleagues with Paul and Fiona, who runs our UK business. And so let's make this session as interactive as possible when we go to the Q&A session. And let's start with a small video. All right, let's get started. So I realized that that's probably the best summary actually in 1 minute. You probably pretty much have seen all my presentations, so we could even switch to the Q&A immediately. But let's spend a bit of time actually. So what I would like to do today is really to welcome you to the Content Cloud. We believe that the Content Cloud is, I think it's not new, but it's a new market category, really. I mean, every single company needs a Content Cloud. And when I talk about Content Cloud, I mean, it's a new market category like ERP, like ECM, like HRM. It's at the end of the day, actually, bottom line, it's probably the summary of the video you've just seen. Our mission is to help your organizations, your company, to transform your workplace and, of course, transform, actually, by extension, your industry. So if there is one thing, actually, that the past 2 years have told us, it's definitely that whichever the industry you are part of, or the size of your business, or the location of your business, we believe that it's absolutely critical to enable your teams so that they really work together securely. Security is super important, and we're going to talk about that, and efficiently. So this is really what keeps us awake at night. The world has fundamentally changed during the past 18 months to 2 years. And the pace has also totally changed, and we need to adapt to that. So I think this is a self-explanatory picture, of course. It reminds me of my days on the left, actually, when I used to live in the US 5 years ago. I was literally spending 3 hours a day on the car, actually, moving from San Francisco to Mountain View. I used to work for this big company called Google. And of course, we have totally switched actually to a new hybrid way of working, and I think that we have debated that pretty extensively actually during the past few sessions. But the question as a business leader, and again, whichever part of the organizations you are belonging to, it's we need to make some decisions now on whether we leverage actually the way we've been forced to a certain extent actually to rethink about how to work, or we are going back 2 years ago. And that's really fascinating, actually. And again, this is the way we are right now designing our products, is to figure out how we can leverage all the creativity, the initiatives, the ingenuity that we went through, actually, during the past 2 years to accelerate our business. And if you think about it, actually, I mean, I don't know you, but in my business running the box organization in EMEA, I've seen amazing opportunities actually to accelerate our business, just the way we have hired people recently, or the way we have interacted with customers. So I came to some situations where on a specific day, I could talk to 5 different customers based in 5 different locations. Never, ever have done that before, actually. So it was absolutely fascinating. Or how we've been able actually to open new opportunities in new territories. Actually, suddenly, remotely, you could interact actually with customers or markets that you didn't necessarily need it to be. We've got a very large customers with Dubai Airport, for instance, based in Dubai. We don't have operations in Dubai as such, but we've done a terrific job actually by building actually new connections and a new customer relationship with this customer. So it's a great opportunity. And what we are seeing is really two things. I think the first one is not necessarily new. How many times for the past even 5 to 10 years have you heard about we can now work from anywhere actually with any kind of devices, whether it's a mobile or it's a laptop, from any kind of application. I remember, as I said actually briefly, I had the privilege actually 10 years ago to start probably something you've heard a lot and you're using, the Google Cloud business in Europe. And when we started the Google Cloud business, we were starting to implement the Google Suite, the G Suite product, or Google Workspace, or Google Apps. Actually, we have had so many names in the organizations in Europe. And 10 years ago, I mean, the main reason for these organizations to implement such a collaboration platform, which was G Suite, was to connect remote workers who were not even connected to the company. So think about some store workers, think about some construction workers actually in the field. They even didn't have an email. And so the goal was really to connect them. Think about where we are right now. It's no longer about connecting people. It's really about bringing to each and every single employee in your organization not only the way to get connected to your organization, but the way to really run a business. And this is a massive difference, actually, how you can run a business from anywhere. And of course, I mean, the pillar is digitalization. Every single task in the organization is digitalized. And this morning, I was kind of reviewing this slide again. I was wondering what kind of example I could give. But I mean, a very easy one was the train I took from London to Manchester yesterday afternoon. I've literally spent 2 hours running some task from my seat in the train. And tasks like what? Actually, I was collaborating with my employees through Box and Slack, actually. I was sending an offer to a customer directly and remotely from my, again, seat on the train. Or I was signing a purchase order with Box Sign. And you don't even realize, actually, how many of these tasks you are realizing a day from any kind of location, any kind of device. And the last thing that we are seeing as a huge, huge change, and it's so easy to put on the slide, but it's so difficult, is security, actually. And I think that, of course, it's the most priority right now in the organization. But what we are seeing is that the traditional way to secure your content or your assets in a company, which was very much a four-wall security approach, has totally disappeared. With all of these employees being remote, actually, and using this complexity of applications and this ecosystem of application, your data, your content is at risk, actually. And you need to rethink about the way you're going to deal with this and you're going to secure your data. So as I said, again, whichever industry you're working in, I mean, it's you are concerned by this transformation. We work with a lot of companies, so we are gifted to work with 100,000 companies around the world, thousands in Europe and in the UK, of course. And we are seeing all of these use cases, whether it's in life sciences, for instance. We have companies like Icon in the UK or like AstraZeneca. It's really, you transform your business to get to the market much faster. I mean, of course, when you think about the partnership we have with companies like AstraZeneca and what they had actually to deal with in the last 2 years, it's really a demonstration that they are operating a very different way, actually, when it comes to bringing product to the market. You have to engage all the R&D across supply chain. You have to collaborate with external players like the regulators, and you have to share all these digital assets, actually, and the content. So if you think about government also, we've got a very strong presence in government. We work with a lot of organizations like the police organizations. Well, you have to enable digital cases on any kind of device, actually, or you have to build some portals. How many times, actually, during the pandemic, I had to take the Eurostar from France to the UK, and every single time, actually, the locator form was different, actually. So you have to adapt at a pace that we've never seen before. You have to deal with very sensitive information, with PI information, personal information, actually, and it requires a lot of permission controls also to deal with that, record retention, e-discovery, all the complexity to deal with highly regulated and compliance-driven organization and business case. Construction, I mean, it's, again, you may think about the way we are building the next buildings. It has nothing to see compared to anything we've seen in the past. You have to provide new, you have to go through a lot of compliances, and you have to provide new services, actually, to making sure that you're going to adapt to the new way of working. Financial services is probably our sweet spot. Actually, we are working with a lot of these financial services organizations who are rethinking about the way they are operating actually internally and externally with our customers. It's really about how do you onboard new customers. I don't know if you had this similar experience, but I remember like 5-10 years ago when I was trying to get into a new bank, investment bank, actually compared to what it happens today. I mean, it's totally different. It's night and day. Actually, we went from paper actually to full digitalization when we are getting onboarded as a new customer. You have to optimize the data rooms also in these organizations with content sharing. And of course, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really to acquire new customers and make faster decisions. And all the digitalization of the paperwork process is a good example. Media and entertainment, again, actually a lot of use cases which are fascinating. Actually, not only this is an industry where they have actually to carry and to manage some very large files, but also it's a very process-driven industry. We have had a chance, I don't know if you had a chance actually to watch a new movie which was released in France, which is called Notre Dame brûle, Notre Dame is burning, which is not that funny actually, especially for a French guy. but I mean, this is a very good example of what we have helped actually the production to build. They have collected nearly 3,000 personal videos actually from people in the streets watching the cathedral burning, and they have rebuilt a fascinating movie actually. And that has been done thanks to Box actually. Not only they can do that, but also when on a standard movie actually you have to onboard the cast and all the crew. You have to manage also the marketing campaign. So it's at the end of the day, content is at the heart of your business actually. It's whichever business you're running, whichever role, actually you have to deal with data. You have to deal with content. Whether you are, as I said, in marketing actually to run some marketing campaign, in HR to onboard some new employees, in sales actually to manage the contract management processes and interaction with your customers, in manufacturing when you have to accelerate the time to market and build the next innovations, the next products, the next services actually to your customers. It's endless actually. Not a single of your daily task is managed without the relevant content. And this is very often and more often actually a true competitive advantage to run your business and your organization. Now, the problem is the complexity. And I could spend an hour on this slide actually detailing every single picture within the slide. It starts with the first problem is how the data is structured. You've got structured data, you've got unstructured data. Of course, you've got a structured data. It can be any data actually that a Uber driver is using to bring you to your destination. It can be any data that Netflix is using actually to recommend you the next movie. It can be any customer data actually that your marketing organization is going to use actually to build the next campaign or engineering to build the next product. Or it can be totally unstructured. It can be the CAD design to design the CAD design to turn that into the next car. Or it can be a brainstorming actually meeting within your employees actually again to think about the next services and the next product you may need to build. Sorry. The other problem is the proliferation. It's the SaaS proliferation. We have made our friend actually, one of our partners, Okta, actually has made a survey. Maybe you have seen this survey already. And they came with their annual survey stating that more than 175 SaaS applications are being used in an organization. And that's the average number of SaaS applications that are being used in an organization. I don't know if it's 100 too many. I have no idea, but it's way too many. That's absolutely for sure. And if you think about not only the complexity of this ecosystem, actually, and SaaS application being a communication application, productivity tools, line of business application, file server application, storage application, the problem is that not only it's too many, but also it's spread across your organization. It's no longer localized, actually. So it puts you at risk if you think about the number of employees actually that are still taking with them so some very sensitive information and files, bring that back home or anywhere that you may not guess where they are working from, I mean, it's really, really, really kind of a big risk. And we are seeing what is happening right now. It's, we've seen a growth of ransomware or malware attacks. And more of our customers are coming back to us in a crazy urgent mode saying, help us actually, because we are under attack and we need to bring that back to security. So, and needless to say also that not only it's about security, but it's also about compliance and regulation in the highly regulated industry. So we need a better way to store, we need a better way to manage actually and secure this content. So Box started 15 years ago and companies have not been waiting 2022 actually to figure out how best they can manage their content. I'm not going to spend too much time on these slides because I do think it's quite self-explanatory and it's probably the kind of technology that you have been using or you're still using actually in your organization. And some of this technology we are still very much partnering actually because of course, I mean, they are very much still in your organization. We started actually 30 years ago with the on-prem file server approach. It was great because it was the first time actually that we could centralize the content within an organization. And then we moved to something which was what we call the ECM or the Enterprise Content Management. This was pretty much the first time actually organizations were starting to manage the the journey, the life cycle of the content. Now the big issue with ECM was very much designed for admins and it was very not user friendly actually. So, but at least it existed. So you've got products like SharePoint who started their open text or Documentum. That started to pop up actually and kind of answer a certain number of problems actually and bring some solutions. And then it has been the explosion of EFSS. And again, I've been part of it actually because I was running the global business for Google Apps. And so of course we had Google Drive at Google and Microsoft also came with OneDrive and Office 365 and you've got also other products that you may be using in your organization like Dropbox. The problem is that it's very user-friendly, but they can be to a certain extent very good personal productivity tool, but at the scale and the complexity of an enterprise organization, they were missing, and we believe they still miss a lot in terms of compliance, regulation, security, workflow, and that was my biggest miss actually, honestly at Google. While I'm in love with Google Drive, I can tell you that we are really missing actually these key features that we as a company, Box, are focusing on bringing actually at the scale of a very large organization. So you might find now some very large organization, I mean, names which are popping up on top of my head like Roche in Switzerland, Genentech, who's massively using Google G Suite and using Box also for productivity, personal productivity tool, and Box as a platform, as a company-wide platform actually to manage the life cycle of all the content and the documents. I could, of course, quote a lot of customers using Microsoft because 95% of our customers are using Microsoft. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are the organizations we are working on. For the past 15 years, actually, we've been working with all these global organizations. Very innovative organization across the different industries who have totally changed, actually, the way they manage their content at the scales of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of employees in their organization. I mean, a bit of marketing here, but we are very proud actually to be seen as the leader in the cloud content platform right now market, and across all the different analysts you may think about, whether you may think about the Gartner Magic Quadrants, the Forrester Wave, the IDC market shapes, you will find us more and more. And if you want to hear more also about Box and the momentum that we currently have, actually feel free to go on the web. Actually, we have posted a lot of information during our last earnings calls. But what is really keeping us at night again is to solve business problems. And we are investing massively in this market in Europe. We are investing massively actually in the UK. When I see all the hands being raised in terms of awareness, I'm glad to see that a lot of you know Box. But the fact is that what we want to do actually is now making sure that you understand what Box can help you with in terms of solving which business problems. And we work with very large organizations. So, of course, I was quoting very quickly Met Police. Literally, Met Police is loading all the critical evidence information from the CCTV footages, and we help this organization, this very important organization. So we do also in Ireland, actually, with PSNI, to really focus on decreasing criminality in London. AstraZeneca is a fascinating customer of us, actually. So they are doing a lot of things. I think one thing that is not mentioned in this slide is how much we are helping the R&D organizations, again, to improve time to market and bring their products faster to the marketplace, but also actually all that sales organization to improve actually efficiency and productivity. So with BT is a very large organization that is using Box with Salesforce. Actually, we've got a lot of Salesforce customers, and we are dramatically helping them actually to manage their contract process management, but also to enable their thousands of sales and marketing people to position their services and products. So let me finish with positioning exactly what we are talking about. We are talking about bringing to the market and bringing to the organization a fully integrated platform, actually. So I could read this slide, actually. At the end of the day, what is the Content Cloud platform? It's a platform that is sitting on the cloud to manage all the life cycle of your documents, actually, from ingesting your document to protecting your content to classifying them. Very large, actually, pillar on collaboration. So by extension of everything you're using with your Office 365 or Google platform. There is a big part of it which is around external collaboration. So it's not only secure internal collaboration, but also external collaboration connected with the hundreds of SaaS applications that you're being using, automation. Sign is very important, actually. Why would you keep on licensing e-signature product while you already have all your content in a single platform which is secure? And of course, the very minimum we can bring is the ability actually to help you running the signature process. And signing a signature process is not only putting a signature on the bottom of a document, it's really making sure that all the life cycle of your document is in such a shape that it's ready to get signed, and then publishing, analyzing, retention. So all of this it comes with a dedicated, actually, approach to manage your content. And when you talk about content, we can talk either, as I said, about very large files, can be 150 gigabyte actually file in the media industry, as it can be a very specific and sensitive personal information that you have to deal with in a highly regulated industry, like we've talked before. And last but not least, and I'm going to accelerate a little bit now, it has to be fully integrated actually with your ecosystem. So this is very important actually to figure out you're using tens, if not 100 actually, of different technology. We are providing standard APIs that you can also build yours if you have any specific actually technology that you want to build. And 3 layers to cut a long story short, a content layer, and you find again everything you need actually to store, secure, share, collaborate, run workflows, signing documents, of course, very advanced analytics and search features, backed with some artificial intelligence actually to make it even smarter to some extent. And then you've got all the security and compliance layer. And of course, I mean, last but not least, we are heavily investing also in connection with the cloud infrastructure that you might find, actually, whether it's GCP from Google, or it's AWS, or it's Microsoft. Actually, we are tightly connected actually to these partners. And if I move on and conclude, I mean, these are the kind of use case that we have implemented in some very iconic customers, whether it's about onboarding new vendors at Starbucks, or it's about building some digital asset library at Nike, which is one of our biggest customers actually in the world, employee onboarding actually at Nationwide, On the legal side, actually, in financial services like KKR, actually, we've built some virtual data rooms. So again, we'll be delighted actually to sit down with you and share all these use cases, because at the end of the day, we do have a use case approach. We do have a business problem-solving approach. And the best actually is to really submit your project, and we work on it. And if really I had to summarize and to answer a question at the end of the day, what is Box for actually? So there are really 3 pillars we are focusing. Number 1 is to protect your content. I mean, we are just totally obsessed with protection and security. The second one is to empower your people and making sure that they have all the capacity and the tools actually to collaborate internally and externally. And last but not least is to connect to your line of business and to your business with all your different applications. So bring everything to the center, actually secure, to give you the ability actually to build your collaboration and to build, to a certain extent, what's next actually for your organization. Nowadays, you don't have a single investment that is going without a return of investment. So we are also helping organizations to calculate this return of investment. You do have some figures that you can read here. The payback period is close to 6 months. But you know, sometimes it's quite difficult to analyze or to evaluate the return on investment when it comes to productivity gain, workflow automation, hardware cost, of course, that you can bake in, security and compliance. But we are running such analysis, and hence why actually companies are adopting this product. So we are just getting started to a certain extent. When you talk about Content Cloud, we are not started as a company because we already have 100,000 customers, as I said. But the product innovation is absolutely fascinating. You may have heard about Box Sign as a huge innovation actually to help organizations to rethink about how they deal with e-signature and connect that to their natively to their content. We've just launched a new product innovation with Canvas. We are totally reinventing visual collaboration, so also very excited about this innovation. And we have a lot of new innovation that we are going to release no later actually than June the 7th. If you have a chance, please join us in London, because we have a fascinating morning with all our executives coming from the US, but more importantly actually, we will disclose a lot of our roadmap, but also we will have a lot of customers also testimonying about their experience with the Content Cloud. So we believe you need a Content Cloud. And with that, that's my last slide. All right. Thank you very much.
Ask you to join me in thanking Sebastien for a great presentation. Thank you, Sebastien.